Hi and welcome to my channel. I'm Simon and today I'm back with my one in, one out sorting the shelves video. This is going to be the first in a new series that I do every month. Now, I'm going to try and wrap up the whole premise of this, not the whole video, because the video I don't know how long it's going to be or what's going to happen, because I didn't plan it. I thought about planning it and really going through it, and I thought, no, let's just see how we go. And if you guys have got any tips on how you'd like me to do it going forward or anything like that, or any extra things you'd like to see or anything that I can cut out, let me know in the comments down below. Always up for some constructive criticism. Anyway, at the beginning of the year, I decided that this whole room is a TBR. I'll link a video about why I have such a big TBR down below. I had a massive call, sorted loads of stuff out, and I was like, right, I've got plenty of shelves. This is my limit. This is going to be my limit for the amount of books that I'm going to have. So when books come in, I therefore either have to read them unless there are 3 exemptions, I think it is. I'm checking my notes, I made notes. Or I have to put them on a book, on these bookshelves in exchange for another one. So literally one in, one out. Now, some things just to let you know straight off the bat. I do not know how many books are on these shelves. It's something that I'm just not interested in knowing. Call it denial if you want. If people are thinking that this might be like Emma of Drinking by My Shelves Balancing of the books, which I love, and I'll link Emma's channel down below, it's not going to be like that. It is literally one in, one out with the exceptions, which I'll come to shortly. But it is kind of a homage because I love what Emma does. But I don't want people thinking that I was nicking her idea or trampling all over it. Anyway, there will be some numbers though, which we'll get to shortly. I'll tell you about my exemptions before. If it's a proof or a book that's out in 2021 that's been sent for review, it's allowed on my review shelves and I don't have to worry about those because there's loads of space on those. I've made it so. If they are poetry, they're exempt because I would like to read more poetry. Now, one of you did very sort of kindly, I'm hoping it was kindly, not snarky, say that just if you gain more poetry books doesn't mean you're going to read more, but let's bear with it. These can change. It might be that if those shelves get absolutely jam-packed, I suddenly have to rethink. And the other one is any books that I've got for work or for projects or like book clubs or prizes or anything like that, they're going to go on my book trolley, which I don't really use at the moment, but will be using more. Now onto the figures in the books. In January, 55 books came into this household. Pick your jaws up off the floor. I know that's a lot. And you can see, I should say, any of my hauls and wrap-ups and reading vlogs I'll link down below with all of these videos so that you can go back if you want to find out more. If it works out like I've missed a book or something along the way, feel free to let me know, but like, don't hold me accountable on it because this is just meant to be fun. Although what I really want to do with this project is see why I read what I read and why I buy what I buy. That's going to be something quite interesting. Anyway, what I found actually quite comforting out of those books, 34 of them I bought myself. And the rest were from publishers, and that shows that I'm not someone who's just grabbing books from publishers. I am genuinely like supporting the industry as well, getting these books through bookshop.org or Waterstones, etc. Anyway, right, let's get cracking, shall we? Because we've got 55 books to talk about. Did I say 54 or 55 earlier? It's 55 books that came in. I'm going to do them in size order and it's going to be very quick. I'm not going to give you like a whole blurb. That's, like I said, what going back to my wrap-ups and my hauls and everything are for. First up, Max Porter's The Death of Francis Bacon. Got it because I love Max Porter. Read it. Sorry, I was really worried that this was going to fall on me then. Polar Vortex by Shani Mutu. This I got because Kieran and Grace have been talking about it and I want to read more Caribbean literature. Haven't read it. The Architect's Apprentice by Elif Shafak. Bought as I was making a video for work on the Duchess of Cornwall's book selections. Haven't read it. Want to read it. All of them want to read. The Family Tree I bought because the girls at the Candid Book Club told me that I would absolutely love it. Not read it. The Deep by Red of Solomon's I saw on Noel Gallagher's channel and really wanted to read it. Not read it. French Exit, I saw the trailer to this on Michelle Pfeiffer's Instagram because she's in the film adaptation. Got it straight away. Not read it. Instagram also made me buy this because I saw this on Niven Govindan's grid, The Ministry of Guidance and Other Stories, Queer Stories by Gornish Noor. Not read it. Now, one bulk buy because they are for a project, or there's one below that's bigger. And these are all Desmond Elliott Prize winners. So we have The Land of Decoration by Grace McLean, Golden Child by Claire Adam, Gifted by Nikita Lalwani, Francis Spufford's Golden Hill, The Marlowe Papers by Ros Barber, Blackmore by Edward Hogan, which I have already read. Francis Spufford's book I read and hated, but I'm going to possibly try and read it again. Saraswati Park by Anjali Joseph, which I will be reading in February because my Patreons, linked down below, have picked this as my first of the Desmond Elliott previous winners books that I read, because that's a project I'm planning on doing. So they go separately because they're a project. Then we have Bellman and Black by Diane Setterfield, which I bought for the group read for winter book hibernation. Read it. I also bought these 3 poetry collections by Maggie Nelson, partly because one was the last winter and had a poem in it about winter, which was a prompt for winter book hibernation. I've said winter too many times. These wouldn't count anyway, but read it. Didn't read the one that I was meant to. So yeah, we'll put those on a separate pile. And also a book that I bought for book hibernation was Boy Snowbird. It had snow in the title. That was another prompt. Haven't read it. 13th Tale by Dan Setterfield I read because I'd read Bellman and Black. I'd read this before, back when it came out, back before I vlogged or YouTubed or anything. I just wanted to have it because I've got Once Upon a River to read in due course. I want to have all of her books on my shelves. So I've already read it, but ages ago, but still doesn't technically count. Now, after judging the Costa overall winner, I wanted to get more of Monique Rofi's books. So I got her debut, Sundog, and also House of Ashes. I actually got both of these second hand because they're really, really, really tricky to get. Thankfully, they came in really good condition, but not read them. I blame this on Jennifer, insert literary pun here. I saw this on her channel, this collection of short stories by Amy Hempel, Sing to It, and it sang to me and I wanted to read it. Not read it. Whew. I bought Small Beauty by Jia Gwing Wilson Yang because of Hannah at Let's Talk About Books Baby. Her and her boyfriend Tom were talking about books that they would really recommend, and this sounded amazing. It's written by a trans Canadian author about the lives of trans people in Canada. Haven't read it yet. Was going to try and squeeze it into book hibernation because feathers are on the cover. Didn't get round to it. I bought Cruising, which is some non-fiction by Alex Espinoza, because I wanted to read something around the whole cruising, sort of culture, I guess, that was in the gay scene's past. I mean, I think it still happens now as part of LGBTQ History Month. Haven't got to it yet, but may well do soon. Small Game Hunting at the Local Coward Gun Club by Megan Gale Coles. I actually bought this technically last year, so really this one shouldn't count. In fact, actually, neither should that one. So maybe I'm going to just show you them, but actually they don't count because they were last year and so therefore weren't part of this. I think I've got one more, but I bought that one because of Daryl over on Instagram at D Sweet Library. He's amazing. Now we're on to books that were sent from publishers. Paradise Block by Alice Ash. Have not read it. Bridget Jones' Diary and Other Stories. I've read it before, so I'm going to count that as a read it. This one was the other book that has won the Desmond Elliott Prize. It is We That Are Young by Priti Taneja, and I will be reading this in due course as part of that project. Kate Fox, The Oscillations, poetry collection. I absolutely loved this. I've read it. I read it for Winter Book Hibernation because one of the poems is called Winter. Can't recommend enough. Loved. John McGregor's Lean Full Stand. Haven't read it yet. Really, really, really keen to get to it. Listening Still by Anne Griffith. Haven't read it. The Stranding by Kate Sawyer. Haven't read it. Sorrowland by River Solomon, the second River Solomon book that I got this month. I'm really, really keen to read their second novel. I think that first one is seen as like a collaboration book rather than River's book in their own right, but yeah, I really, really want to read this in due course. Let's make some space for me there so things don't fall over. I bought myself this. This is poetry. It's For Brown Girls Who Write, which is a collection of poems that come in this amazing, how gorgeous is that? Haven't read it. Skin by Carrie Andrew is out this month, sent from the publishers. I bought myself A Secret of Birds and Bone by Kieran Millwood Hargreave. Not read it. I Hold a Wolf by the Ears by Lauren Vandenberg. I bought because of Jalen over at the Bar and the Bookcase. Haven't read it yet, but very, very keen to. A short story collection that I saw on the internet. If I Had Two Wings, stories by Randall Keenan. Haven't read it yet. Aidan Thomas's Cemetery Boys, saw all over the internet. Haven't read it yet. But I bought that one. Canongate sent me How Beautiful We Are by Imbolo Mbu. I haven't read that one yet. I actually technically bought myself this at the end of last year, so I'm not going to count this one either, although it wouldn't matter because it's poetry. It's Dearly by Margaret Atwood. Heavy Light by Horatio Clare, who I judged the Costas with. The publishers kindly sent me this. Haven't read it. It's not doing well with proofs until now, because Still Life by Sarah Winman. Read it, bloody loved it, tabbed it. The Dark by Emma Horton, you can't see it because they've done clever things with the cover, not read it. Sorrow and Bliss by Meg Mason from the lovely folk at Orion, not read it. The Pact by Sharon Bolton, one of my favourite crime authors from the publishers, not read it. A Gift from one of you lovely lot who'd seen it on my wish list. Cantorus by Carolina de Robertis, haven't read it yet. This came for work, and actually I already had a copy of this. I was meant to be doing an event with Ruth Coker Burks, who, if you loved It's a Sin, I think you will love this. This is her memoir. It's All the Young Men, and it's about how she became a volunteer during the AIDS crisis in America, and then actually ended up being a consultant for Bill Clinton. So yeah, amazing. But actually listening to it on audio, so does that count if I'm sort of listening to it? Well, not sort of listening to it, I'm listening to it, but I've not finished it, and also technically didn't start listening to it in January, but let's let it slide for now. Queer LGBTQ, Writing from Ancient Times to Yesterday, edited by Frank Wynne. Haven't read it from the publishers. I did read Outlawed by Anna North, which I asked the publishers for, thought it was corking. B Street was gonna read it for my first reading vlog of the year and didn't get around to it, so not yet from the publishers. I bought this at the end of 2020, yeah, the end of 2020, blank 2020 from my mind. I therefore don't need to count it. Finished copy of Robert Jones Jr.'s The Prophet. I have read this twice. This copy is going to go to my mother. And finally, out of the books that came to me, is Patricia Highsmith's Under a Dark Angel's Eye. Haven't read it yet. So those are all the books I read. I'm now going to pause this so that I can, one, have a drink because I'm parched after going through those books so quickly, but also so that I can then show you the piles of the ones that I've read, the ones that are going to go onto certain shelves, and then it's time to do the 1 in, 1 out rule. I'm really worried now that that would have been really, really boring for you, me going, read it, not read it, read it, not read it, read it, not read it. Anyway, so I read 10 of the books, or had already read. I had read and already read. A combination of having read and already read led to 10 of the books that I got sent, not needing to be 1 in, 1 out, because I've read them. So they're going to go either on my favourite books of 2021 shelves, which are over there, or onto my shelves downstairs if I want to keep them. I have to say, not necessarily going to keep all of them. I didn't love this. I don't know whether to keep it because I've got his other 2 books, which I absolutely adored, or whether I should give that to a new home. That's how I'm feeling about that one at the moment. And obviously The Prophets I'm going to give to my mother. These 8 are Desmond Elliott Prize winners, and because that's a little project I've given myself, I'm allowed to pop them onto my book cart, which is where you shall see them shortly. Those 8 are now on my book trolley there, book cart, book trolley, whatever you want to call it. Now, I'm actually not going to show you that because I realised that I'd taken some books off other shelves, these ones that I don't tend to read that much. Anyway, there is a reading vlog that I'm planning based on books that have been recommended if you're an Aries, which I am, which I'm going to do on my birthday week. So I've hidden them there, which means you can't see them and I don't want to show you yet because spoilers. I had 4 poetry collections that I bought that I hadn't read, so I'm going to take you with me as I pop those onto my poetry shelves. These are my poetry shelves here, guarded by my Russian doll. I will just show you, these are my favourites of 2021 shelves, so I just need to sort all of that out in a bit, but I'm not going to do that now because I don't want to tell you which ones my favourites aren't and aren't. Right, now then, let's add these collections onto this shelf. There we go. Now, actually, to be fair, they are starting to look a little bit full already, but lots of lovely reading ahead for me. If my maths are correct, we've got rid of 10 that I'd already read, plus the 8 for my Desmond Elliott project. We're down to, keep looking at my notes, 37. And then we have 14 proofs or books that are out in 2021. These are blinking heavy because of the Highsmith and the Queer. I can't say that. That sounded so wrong. I didn't mean because of the queer, not me. I just meant because of the book queer. Anyway, I'm going to go and put these on those shelves. Now, that said, I do like to put them in date order, so that could take us some time. These are my proof shelves, and as you can see, I mean, I'm even frankly showing off and being smug by having some storage and an empty shelf. So I'm going to add all of the proofs and stuff that came in that I didn't get to in January in here. They're all done now, and I'll show them in a second, but just to note, I didn't film myself doing it because I have on some of the most ridiculous, very revealing superhero pyjama bottoms on, so yeah. There we go. those are all the proof shelves, and I've still got a shelf free, but I don't know how long that'll last, but let's not think about that too much now. So that was all the relatively painless bit, because that was subtracting or adding to shelves that didn't really count. Now it's going to get tougher, because I have one non-fiction that I've got to squeeze on my non-fiction shelves. I think I've got space, so that might be all right. Then I've got 2 books that I've got to put on my YA shelves, which I don't think I have any space on. 1 book on my crime shelf, which I don't have any space on. And then, this is making me feel a bit sick. Weirdly, this I think I'll be all right with, because these are paperbacks that came out before this year, and so they go on my backlist shelves over there. Now I have done a little bit of unhauling already and grabbed my next read off there. Yeah, I think I'll be all right if I need to cull a few more off those. The ones that I think I'm going to really struggle with are these, which will be part of my imported shelves, where I keep all books that have come from other countries, basically. I really struggled to cull them before, so this is going to be the hard bit, so I'm going to leave that bit till last. So let's go and do the non-fiction one first, because I can do this literally from where I'm sat, because there's space literally on my non-fiction shelves just here. Literally all I've done is swing round from my chair, and there we go. That's that sorted. That's non-fiction. Now to crime. I need to get rid of a book on here, and I've actually spotted the one that I think it's going to be. Before I tell you about which ones I've swapped, or I'm going to swap because the book's still there, I have moved out so that you won't be able to see it in behind me anymore, and I'm going to see how many people notice, because that book gets so many comments. Anyway, I'm torn. Actually, there's 2 that I could take out here, because I do have this gorgeous edition of Death on the Nile. I don't like Poirot, so actually that's my decision made. There was one other book that I was considering, but I won't tell you that because I'll keep that a secret until next time. So now I can, just let me swap hands. Ooh, up in close we get. I can pop this. There, Angling Connor, there she is. These are my YA shelves here, and some of my non-fiction there. And I've spotted there's actually a gap there, so I can put Kieran Millward Hargreave next to my other Kieran Millward Hargreave. Although I am quite puzzled to why there is space there, because I haven't read anything off my YA shelves. Anyway, now I need to find something that can make space for the Cemetery Boys, which I'm planning on reading quite soon, but not immediately. Made my decision. I'm going to take Hilary McKay's Fairy Tales off, because it's a beautiful book, but it's more for sort of what's before YA. It's made for much younger readers, basically, and as beautiful as it is, I've read all these fairy tales, and it could go to somebody who would love it more. So I'm going to pop Cemetery Boys. Oh, it's hard to do this when you look into a camera screen and just, oh, there we go, sorry. There we are. So they're all good for now. Sorry, Hilary McKay, I've met her, she's lovely. Right, so now I need to find homes for these 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 books. And I've already made some can't speak, it's stressing me out. I've made space on my shelves already for some of these, because I have been through the shelves earlier, and I will insert footage of the before. These are the shelves before I have a little cull. Off the shelves, I realised, one, I'd put Box Hill, which I've read, back onto those shelves, so that was daft of me, so that's going to go downstairs, so that's fine. I am going to be reading Conversations with Friends next. You will possibly have already seen this in a reading vlog. It depends when these videos go live, because I'm pre-recording stuff as I'm off to get my Michelle Pfizer vaccination this afternoon. But I'm currently doing a vlog where I'm reading books with yellow covers, and this is going to be what I read next, so I may have well have read it by now by the time you see this. I've had this proof on those shelves. It's about a man who, I don't know, it just felt all a bit, I was looking through the blurb, and it's a proof that I haven't got around to from last year. I've not really heard anyone talking about it. Maybe when it comes out in paperback at some point, I might give it a whirl, but yeah, I don't need to read a book about basically a man who has failed and tragedies befallen his family, and now he comes to terms with this, what has become of his life. I'm just not bothered in the struggles of white men. So with that, and then we have Lightbox by KJ Orr, which has got a gorgeous cover actually. This is a short story collection that I bought. I think it won a prize, and therefore I decided that I wanted to read it. And also, Daunt Books do beautiful books, but I've not got to it in years, so I'm a bit like that about it. How am I on with some of these unhauls? Maybe I should just try a chapter and see how I go. Yi Yun Lee's Must I Go, which this is a proof copy. I haven't got around to it. If this is on the women's prize list though, I'll get to it anyway. So not that I'm saying that only books that end up on the women's prize long list are books that I should keep, but sometimes that is how I take books into consideration that I should get rid of. Like, will I meet them again for some other reason? And yeah, maybe I'll meet that for another reason. And also one of the things that I think about actually when I'm culling is like, could I get this book easily anywhere else? Why did I get it? What was the reason for it, etc., etc., which I may have to go through again when I now, if I can't with those spaces, pop these on, because I'd already read some other books which I'd taken off that I read as part of the 22 that I read in January. There should be enough space. We'll see now. I'm really dreading the ones though that are all the import books. That is actually filling me with woe. P.S. just so you know, I won't be filming myself going through the shelves again because I have to lean on the couch and everything, and it's all just a little bit hazardous, so I don't want to end up on You've Been Framed. I have managed to do all of those books and only had to take one off. Now I'm not sure quite if I'm following the 1 in, 1 out rule, because actually some of those books are thinner than the other ones. Some of them are chunkier, so maybe it's just a like chunk in, chunk out is what I should say of books. But the last one I took down, I feel a bit bad about this because lovely Kim of the reading blog Kim Both, who I've known for years, I think she gave me this. This is the Book of Emmett by Deborah Forster, and it says it has riffs on like Wuthering Heights and Heathcliff. I hate Wuthering Heights with a passion. I think it's just a lot of miserable people being crappy to each other in a really, really cold, drizzly mayhem. I mean, I've been to the farm that's meant to be Wuthering Heights, and that was lovely. I went to the parsonage, that was great too. But yeah, it sounds like it's just about an angry father who's horrible to his children. I feel like I've read that a lot. So yeah, sorry about that one. I will come back to the books that I've unhauled in a bit. However, because I have got a possible idea for them, I don't know whether you think this is a good idea or not. Let me know when I tell you what it is, which I'm not doing yet. Now I've got to go and do. I'm really putting it off. I've got to go and get rid of this many, or this wide and chunking amount of books off my shelves up there, which have got one small space on, but that's kind of it. These are all my imported, excuse my creaky floorboards, shelves, and as you can see, I do have a gap there. So what I'm going to do is move some of those up there, or one of those up there, and then add my copy of Cantoras into the hardback bit here, because I do them in size order. Okay, so I've already spotted one that I think I'm not fussed about getting rid of, and that is the Van Apfel Girls Are Gone, which I've not heard amazing things about, so that's one down. Now, this is where I'm slightly cheating, because where that made space, I can actually fit these 2 books in. So I'm putting them on the shelves, and doesn't count. But now I'm genuinely screwed, because I don't really want to get rid of any more. But I need to put these on there, because I don't want to get rid of these. Ugh. I'll catch up with you once I've managed it, if I've managed it, because this could take some time. And like I said, I've got almost indecent pyjama bottoms on. I mean, actually, to be fair, I've got the curtains open, so the neighbours are getting a right eyeful. Don't need to inflict that on all of you. There's more of you than there are neighbours that can see me here. All done. As you can see, all full. So what did I get rid of? I was worried then it was going to take me so long I was going to miss my Michelle Pfizer appointment, but I've still got an hour or so to go, and it's only 10 minutes down the road. Now, off those shelves, I took, as you saw, the Van Apfel Girls Are Gone by Felicity McLean. Now, this is actually a UK edition, but it's because I have the Australian edition on my shelves now, which I actually think I was bought by somebody. That makes me feel a bit bad. And I think the same is the case with The Forgiven by Lawrence Osborne, because I can't work out where I've got this from. It's got beautiful deckled edges. But when I was looking at it, I was thinking, I have no recollection of what this is about, where it's from. And I thought it might be from some of my friends in America who very kindly send me books, but it's not signed, and they normally get me signed ones, so I'm not sure. So I need to have a think about this one. I don't need to have a think about this one, I'm just not sure. A book that I bought when I was in San Francisco in, what are they called, Green Apple Books? But this was second hand. It was only a few dollars. It was The Girl Who Slept with God by Val Berlinski. And the title is quite a thing to say, that I picked it up. I went to San Francisco over 2 years ago, and I paid $4 for it, I've just seen, so I don't feel too guilty about this one. This is just one of those things when you get to the point that you've got to choose like 1 in, 1 out, although it wasn't 1 in, 1 out, it was like how many could I fit into the spaces if I took some off. But you know what I mean, I've still got rid of some basically, and it's meant to be fun. The Magician's Assistant by Anne Patchett. Now this was going to be my sort of me and Anne Patchett's Last Chance Saloon, because I've really struggled. I liked Belcanto in some parts. I didn't really like the Dutch House at all. This I thought was going to be really interesting because I think it's about somebody who has AIDS and they try and keep it a secret, which is quite out because of all the stuff going on at the moment in the conversation since It's a Sin has been on telly in the UK and around the world. So yeah, but it has left me wondering, I don't know if this is a cop-out or not, should I do try a chapter tag of these 5 and maybe have a rule that with my book trolley I can put possibly 5 books that I have to try a chapter of within the next month, and it's almost like a second chance saloon shelf somewhere on there. Give them a whirl and see. I don't have to read the whole book, just see if I like a chapter and therefore I would like it to go back on the shelves, which might mean that there'll be some that I'll have to swap for it later on, but I don't know. Let me know what you think, because as with this whole video, it's all been a bit haphazard, a bit see what works, see what doesn't, but I kind of think that can be quite good fun. I hope it's been as fun as it has been for me, for you, or for you, for me, one or the other. It certainly kept my mind off having my vaccine today, which I'm quite nervous about just because everyone keeps telling me about the side effects. Anyway, let me know what you think about the idea of the Last Chance Saloon and then doing a video where I try a chapter of every one of these and decide whether they're going to stay in the house or not. Let me know if there's anything that I should do film-wise. Like, if you'd like me to film going through the shelves, I will in future. I just didn't dress appropriately for it. And actually, you will see Chris doing this in a future video where I'm going to be getting him to pick the 5 books that I read one week. So I'll try and film him going through them more speedily and everything. But if you'd like to see more of that, let me know. Just, yeah, what else would you like to see in this video? Was the Reddit, not Reddit, Reddit, not Reddit, was that a bit too much? Just, I think it'll all be fine, I'm hoping, in the edit, but we'll see. Yeah, I'd love all of your thoughts in the comments down below. Also, let me know if you've read any of the books that I'm thinking of getting rid of, and if you think I'm insane for doing so, that would intrigue me, or whether I'm making the right decision or anything else along those lines. I would love all of your thoughts on all of it. What I can do, what I can leave out, blah 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 blah. Should I do a read a chapter tag? I'm waffling and going round in circles. So on that note, thanks for joining me. I hope this was all right. It was something a little bit different, haphazard and different, a bit like me in this channel, and I'll speak to you all soon. Bye.